Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
Disgusting to look at. We're gonna finish this and then we're gonna go downstairs and start Pirates of the Caribbean 2. We should clarify that we're recording this on American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We were supposed to record last night, but we were just like, no. We'd rather watch a volleyball. The prospect of a 4-day weekend was just sort of like slapped us in the face, and we were like, I can't get any work done. Yeah. We'd rather watch volleyball anime.
Because it's so good. I guess I have a headache because there's a storm coming in.
Yeah, it's always very, that's ironic because that's a theme in the second chapter of what we read, which Sally didn't read. But
yeah, sorry. I gave up. Well, Emily gave me permission because I read the first one diligently, like ahead of time, ready to record.
And that was a very long chapter.
Yeah, and then I had to go to my mom's house and pick up the 3 pounds of turkey that she bought for me and Emily, who are 2 humans.
I think that's the size we got, though.
I guess it must be.
It's just so much turkey.
It just feels like she handed it to me and I'm like, this just feels like a lot of turkey, and I'm sure we'll eat it and it like won't be a problem. But she also had like a whole bag of stuff to give me, which was very tender. And then I came home and Emily was like, you don't have to read the second chapter if you don't want to. And of course I was like, I'm not going to read it then.
It was bad. It's just not a good chapter.
But is that chapter called The Storm Gathers?
I think so.
Which is like Robert.
And it like starts out with Nynaeve being like, I'm sensing a storm here, but of course it's weird because the weather is, the weather is boiling hot, but there is no rain or thunder or whatever in sight. So it's Nynaeve's weather sense being thrown off. But yeah, Sally's very sensitive to barometric pressure changes. Yep. So yeah, there's some gray clouds coming in.
Anyway, Utah's weather is whack. Global warming is whack. This is Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Sally Goodger.
I'm Emily Jushaw.
That's Tybalt.
Still licking himself.
Because he's disgusting.
He might lick himself this entire podcast. He did lick my hand for 10 minutes straight the other day. Well, transitioning from complain about Tybalt hour to complain about Robert Jordan hour.
Okay,
yeah.
It's a good transition. They're both monsters.
Yeah, we're back with Elaine and Nynaeve, this segment, first with Elaine, then with Nynaeve, through the chapters, and the basic summary is that, they're in Salidar, we get some, like, updates on what they're doing, then eventually they go to meet not just Swan and Leanne in Teleron Riyadh, but also, the Salidar 6, those women that we talked about several episodes ago. I can name them, but I'd rather not.
Let's see if I can name them.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, there's Shiriam.
Uh-huh.
There's Carlinia.
Yeah.
There's Myrelle.
Yeah.
There's Bayonin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bonus points if you can name any of their characteristics. And by characteristics, I do mean their looks, because that's all we get of them.
Well, I think one of them is described as having honey-colored hair, which is my favorite descriptor, because I'm like, what does that mean?
I don't know. I think that's Bayonin.
Okay.
She's from Terralon, I want to say, so all of them have that hair. Which is just, like, blonde hair.
Yeah, and, like, you're blonde. Just say that they're blonde.
Yeah.
No, I don't know who the other two are. Anaya, is that one of them?
Oh, yeah, Anaya and Morvrin.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say her characteristic is that she's stout. Which, like, great. Anyway, they're all able to go to Teleron Riyadh now because Elaine has successfully managed to copy their dream ter'angreal. Not just the rings, but also, like, the other two that they had acquired in the last couple books. And so now the Aes Sedai have taken over meeting with the Wise Ones. I guess Nynaeve and Elaine are no longer going, which is not fun for the Wise Ones, who hate Aes Sedai for good reason.
Especially these ones.
Especially these 6, who are a fucking nightmare. And presumably they're all going to the Wise Ones, and Elaine mentions that they keep asking about Edwene. And we know as readers with advance notice that they are anxious to get Edwene to Salidar so that they can appoint her as Amyrlin's seat.
Yeah.
So they keep, like, interrogating the Wise Ones about where she is. And Edwene is apparently still recovering from whatever the fuck Lanfear did.
Yeah.
At the end of last book.
Rip to Egg, though, am I right? She's been out for, like, weeks, it seems like.
I know, I think we, like, get her soon.
Yeah.
Fairly soon, and she seems, like, fine. She's not, like, an invalid. I think the Wise Ones are just kind of, like, over-cautious about banning her from this.
Plus, Egg is their girl, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, we love Egg, and the Aes Sedai are like, Egg belongs to us, and they're like, no, Egg belongs to us.
She's ours. She's our girl.
And they're like, Aes Sedai are like, no.
They're like, we're already setting her up with a nice ale boy.
Yeah. She's already married.
We've already got it covered.
Don't worry about it.
She's a wise one now.
Listen, it would be so much better if the Wise Ones are like, here's just an ale boy.
Have
He'll
him
be much nicer to you than
Gawain. Yeah, imagine if any of the Wise Ones met Gawain.
They'd be like, no.
What the fuck?
They would assassinate him on the spot.
Kill him. Kill Bill Sirens.
Yeah.
He's not worthy of Egg.
Yeah, he'd be like, my honor, and they're like, you have
my honor!
Don't try it, Anakin.
Don't try it, Anakin. I have the high ground.
Gosh, after this, I have to show you this TikTok.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
It's not a haiku TikTok.
I was about to ask.
I can show you those if you want. This is a Star Wars TikTok.
Oh, I feel like I get enough Star Wars memes from Collins, my brother-in-law.
It's okay, you can send this to Collins. I bet he'd think it was funny. And maybe you can get some brother-in-law points. Some BIL points.
He only sends me Star Wars prequel memes, though.
That's horrible.
I know, I think he's doing it to torture me.
Okay, we have to stay on topic.
Stay on topic.
Elena's brushing her hair, which, as someone on Wheel of Time Twitter pointed out, Elaine is supposed to have, like, really curly hair, like my hair, and she's just, like, fully brushing her hair while it is dry, which, let me tell you, would rip. Just split every single hair that she has, so.
I cannot speak to this.
Emily
you
has
have
no
a hair
hair
on your nose. Shh.
I have hair everywhere.
I'll keep that tender moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have no hair, and when I do have hair, I just don't brush it because there's no need.
The reason I take such long showers is because I have to brush my hair in the shower with conditioner in it. Yeah, I don't just sit in the shower, just if you're ever wondering.
I mean, the reason I take such long showers is because I do just sit in the shower.
Just pop down. No, I have to, like, brush my hair in the shower with conditioner in it, or it just is, like... And even then, my hair is a dry nightmare. So anyway, Robert Jordan is proving once again that he's like, what is women?
He thinks all women are like me, that they can use 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. But also I would never brush my hair for 100 strokes.
I know, I don't...
Or whatever the fuck that means.
I don't know what that is.
Why count?
But anyway, Egg and Nynaeve are like, it's fucking hot, we want to die.
Elaine and Nynaeve?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Elaine and Nynaeve are like, it's fucking hot, we want to die.
Yeah, they're in this teensy apartment in Salidar. They're just talking about how they're both presenting information they get from Mogadien as their own sort of achievements. Yeah. So they're sort of simultaneously the darlings of the Aes Sedai and also sort of the Aes Sedai being Aes Sedai are just contemptuous of literally everyone, so not a great place to be in. And later we find out that Elaine is essentially also fulfilling duties as an accepted. She's like teaching novices because the novice classes have grown quite a bit in Salidar because they changed the age ceiling, I guess. Which is sort of foreshadowing for when Edwene will become Amyrlin and be like, listen, any motherfucker who wants to be an Aes Sedai can. Doesn't matter if they're an old lady or not. which will radically change the Aes Sedai landscape a little bit. But yeah, they're like, complain and snipe at each other. Finally, they both take some Ambien and go to some Fantasy Ambien and go to Teleron Riyadh, where they meet up with Swan and Leanne, who are complaining, I should say, about meeting with these 6 Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Swan's like, it's bad enough we have to deal with them. We also have to deal with these 2 fuckos. Like, in front of Nynaeve and Elaine. And I'm just like, why is everyone so rude?
Yeah.
Like, what do you gain from being assholes to each other all the time? I know Swan is, like, a particular paragon of this, but Nynaeve and Elaine are not great either.
Yeah, everyone was just like, fuck everybody else. It's like Robert Jordan's dumb, nobody likes each other syndrome.
Yeah.
As if, like, conflict and interesting tension in books can only happen if people are literally fighting 100% of the time.
Yeah, he, like, doesn't even try to, like, interrogate why Swan might be a total asshole to these 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is possible in an interesting world, Swan would be like, I feel guilty about sending these 2 out into the world and almost getting them killed, but I don't want to handle that, so I'm going to push them away or whatever. Or maybe, like, I am going to try and make amends. And Nynaeve and Elaine could be like, we don't want you to make amends.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, Nynaeve and Elaine could even recognize that what she did was wrong, which is just not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, relationships do have nuance.
Fucking shocking.
Robert Jordan's never heard of that, though, especially when it comes to relationships between women. He seems to think that women just don't like each other, and that is presenting nuanced relationships. So finally, the 6 Aes Sedai show up, and their whole mission is to go to Aleda's study, like Elaine and Nynaeve and Edwene were doing in the last book, and sort of, like, see what information they can gather. Which is fine, but the whole time the Aes Sedai are like, we don't actually know how to use Teleron Riyadh, and we refuse to learn how to use Teleron Riyadh. Like, Nynaeve and Elaine are trying to be like, here are some fun facts. You don't actually need to, like, wake up in your own beds in Teleron Riyadh and then, you know, travel out wherever.
Yeah. You can just be here.
Yeah, please don't go near nightmares. And all the Aes Sedai are like, we must fight the nightmares. And Elaine is like, no. Don't be stupid. So the fact that these are, like, you know, the leaders isn't great. But as they approach, they are literally, like, talking about getting Edwene as the Amyrlin. They're just not using names. And no one really comments on it, so, like, I don't know why Elaine isn't like, interesting.
Yeah, because literally, like, 3 pages ago, she and Nynaeve were like, they're never gonna pick an Amyrlin. Well, they're being so slow.
Yeah, and the conversation makes it clear that they already have picked someone, and they're just kind of worried about the hall of the tower actually accepting their decision.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not? Egg is the bomb.
Yeah, I guess so great and beautiful.
I mean, I know these ladies are, like, manipulation, scheming.
So we go to Aleda's office, which is described in detail to us for the 11th time in the last 2 books.
I know, every time they're like, there's a painting of Rand and what's-his-fuck fighting at Falm or whatever. I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
I've been told about 117 times.
We have to describe Aleda's throne-like chair and all her boxes. And I'm like, once you have given us a setting, you can assume that we have a picture of it in our minds. Like, that is what describing settings are for.
Yeah.
You only need to describe something once and maybe give, like, a few refreshers.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind the, like, little bits and bobs we get. Like, she has a fresh vase of flowers every time because they're like, she's a dumb bitch who cares more about using the power on plants than, you know,
helping people.
But, like, I don't need to know every single time that she's, like, neat and tidy. There's a picture of Rand on the wall.
Yeah, it's just like, ugh. Leanne immediately runs off to make contact with her eyes and ears in Tarvalon, which I don't know how that is accomplished.
Yeah.
Given they're in Teleron Riyadh. Is she, like, having people leave notes for her or something? Whatever. But she just takes off, and then the Aes Sedai are like, Nynaeve, go after her, even though, like, Nynaeve has no idea where she's gone.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve is just like, fine, bye, see ya. And while the Aes Sedai are investigating, Elaine just has to, like, sit there while they discuss various points of interest, such as that Aleda has approached the King of Ilion, Tylan in Ebudar, Alejandra in Gialden, and whatever his fuck name is in Amadisia. And they're like, we also have people in those places, except for Ilion, which will set up, like, the idea that the girls are going to get to Ebudar in the next book and meet, people not just from Aleda, from the White Tower, but also there will be representatives from Salidar. Although I think there one Salidar lady, Edicina, she is, like, immediately captured by the Shanshan, so...
Well...
Whatever, Matt has to deal with all of them, is the point.
That's like...
They also reference that all of the White Cloaks are gathering in, Amadisia. Like, Pedronile is gathering them all in, and I think the last time we read a Pedronile point of view, we literally just skipped it. I don't think we even talked about it.
Whoops.
Because it was, like, in the prologue or something, and we just, like, we didn't remember it.
Sorry.
Who cares? He's a fucko. And what we know from him is that he is gathering the White Cloaks in an attempt to, like, he's like, I'm going to let the Dragon Reborn do chaos, and then I'll go, like, save people or something. It's a stupid plan.
Yeah.
Like, great General Who, Pedronile's a fucking idiot. They hear some other rumors. They find out that Aleda has sent an embassy to Rand in Kyrian, and Elaine is like, oh my god, freaks out about that. She's like, we have to warn him that they're bad. Or whatever. Or no, the Aes Sedai are like...
Oh, the Aes Sedai are like...
That's bad, and Elaine's like, well, surely he knows that he can't trust people from the White Tower, but also we should warn him. And it's just like...
What's the truth, girl?
Girl, leave it alone. Which is when the nightmare strikes. The Aes Sedai who were in the other room start screaming, and they all rush out and find this nightmare, which in this particular instance is like a setup of a Turlock camp, and they're just torturing the women. Robert Jordan's like, I'm just gonna sprinkle in some torture porn here to show that I am straight.
Here you go, guys and gals.
Yeah, we
have
to deal with fucking miserable descriptions of all the Aes Sedai being tortured.
Yeah.
Because they all rush in, and Elaine finally is like, we have to... the only way to defeat it is to visualize it as though it is not there, to, like, make it unreal. But she and Swan cannot, like, communicate with the Aes Sedai who are already in the nightmare, so they're like, we have to go into the nightmare to talk to them. Basically yell at them. It's a stupid plan. And again, this scene doesn't really need to be there, except to show us that the Aes Sedai are fucking incompetent.
Yeah.
As though we hadn't already picked up on that.
Yeah.
And everyone to be like, oh my god, Elaine is so brave. She's like, fine. And then we have to suffer through descriptions of Elaine getting ready to be skinned alive or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
horrible.
Disgusting. And then finally, in the nick of time, the nightmare goes away. And all the Aes Sedai are traumatized messes.
Yeah.
Because they've just been tortured. But, yeah, then they're like, okay, well, back to, Salidar to get healed. They leave. And Elaine then has a little minute where she, teleports over to the palace at, Caemlyn, where she gets a look at how Rand has put his own throne in place of the Andoran throne and, like, moved the Lady Throne off to the side.
Yeah.
Awkwardly. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, seriously.
I mean, it's very dumb. And it's just, like, more evidence that when Rand is like, I don't understand why people think I'm trying to rule Andor. It's like, you put your own throne up there.
You don't?
You're a fucking idiot.
You don't. You also have, like, moved in an entire foreign army.
Yeah.
The Saldian army is just, like, occupying Andor casually.
There's just 9,000 horsemen.
Also, I think Bashir is technically, like, they're out of Andor's borders or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Hiding in a forest.
They're hiding in a forest from everyone.
Even themselves.
But he did bring in a bunch of ale, so foreign armies around.
Yeah.
And Elaine's like, oh, Rand. And then leaves to go back to sleep, and then Demandred pops out and is like, let the Lord of Chaos rule. And it's like, and then leaves again.
Twirls his mustache.
Again, putting Demandred in and or even until on Riyadh is supposed to be a link to him and Mazrim Tem, which, as we've already discussed, is nothing.
So dumb.
And then the next chapter, Nynaeve wakes up and hears all of this from Elaine and is like, damn, sounds tough. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
And then Elaine's like, okay, well, I have to go be a contributing member of society and teach some classes. And Nynaeve's like, great, see you later. I'm going to go try and track down Moghedien. She finds Moghedien, like, washing dishes. Now, Moghedien is masquerading as Merrigan, and Merrigan supposedly is a single mom who just sort of showed up in Salidar with no abilities to channel that the Aes Sedai know about, so sort of like it is understandable that she would be like put to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with just making people work.
Yeah.
But like, if she is getting room and board and food here, then
yeah,
she's obliged to fill her part. But like, Nynaeve rolls up and the dishwasher lady is like, oh, I'm sure you want Merrigan. And it's like, what relationship do they think is going on here? Like, Merrigan didn't come in as their servant, and even if she was, like, there's no way the Aes Sedai would allow them to have a servant. So are they just like, she's their friend that they talk to all the time?
I guess.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moghedien's stuck washing dishes, which is actually hilarious.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh my god, my hands. And it's like, you mean the blood? The blood on all your hands?
Yeah.
You stupid asshole. And with that checked off her to-do list, Nynaeve goes about just walking around Salidar trying to look busy without actually ending up with anything to do. She can't, like, teach classes because she still does not have a handle on her block. But she also has been avoiding Theodrin, the, quasi-accepted Aes Sedai gal, who's very nice, who is trying to teach her to get through her block. So it's sort of like Nynaeve being like, proactivity, never heard of her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to improve myself. Which, like, I get the idea that, like, Nynaeve's block is, like, traumatic for her in some sort of way because it's linked to her feelings about being able to channel at all.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of ridiculous to have her just flounder in Salidar with nothing to do.
Yeah, well, and it's just made, like, even more frustrating by the fact that what does actually cure Nynaeve's block is almost dying in a river and then being rescued by Lan and then getting married. It's like... Which I, like, can't even begin to, like, unpack how fucked up that is.
Yeah,
because
her sexuality really jumps out there.
I haven't, like, even fully wrapped my head around the fact that it happens because it's so ridiculous. So the fact that she's, like, presented with an opportunity to, like, overcome her block in a very, like, academic, controlled setting with something that Theodrin, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Has, like, experience with, because Theodrin's the one who also had a block, right?
Yeah, Theodrin tells this little story to Nynaeve about how her own block was that she had to have a man present in order to channel, because she used to, like, use it before she knew she was channeling to, like, flirt with guys.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Nynaeve's was, like, healing.
Yeah.
And Theodrin was like, the way they did this was they just had a boy sit in on all of my lessons, but eventually I realized that he had a twin sister who, you know, would dress up like her brother, and then one day, after Theodrin had successfully channeled, this gal just, like, took off her shirt and was like, hello. And that should have been the moment when Theodrin was like, and that was the day I realized I'm gay.
Yeah.
But no, since then Theodrin's been able to channel. Which is a charming little story and very funny. They both laugh about it. But yeah, it's like Theodrin has some knowledge of this and is also, like, not abusing you or condescending to you the way the other Aes Sedai are. She's genuinely like, I want to help you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just sort of ridiculous that Nynaeve is like, no, I don't want to be the master of my own fate.
I have to wait for Lan to save me out of a river after I fight Moghedien for the 9,000th time.
Yeah, the whole time she's like, oh my god, where is Lan?
Land.
She also references the fact that Myrelle keeps, quote-unquote, picking on her.
Yeah.
Which I think we can interpret as Myrelle knows that she has been past Lan's bond.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Moiraine left her instructions, like, this should go to Nynaeve, when Nynaeve is an Aes Sedai. So, while I don't love the idea of passing a man around like he's
Property?
that's disgusting. If we're being generous with Myrelle here, then perhaps she's being hard on Nynaeve because she is, like, trying to get her into a position to be Aes Sedai so that she can
pass the bond
as she promised Moiraine. But Nynaeve is like, I just have to avoid Myrelle. Which, like, I get it. It's not like Myrelle is like, here's the deal. Your boyfriend's alive. He's coming to me. You know, everything would be so much easier if people just communicated.
But instead, Myrelle is like, I will take advantage of his tragic emotional state to sexually assault him.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's not a big deal. Don't fucking worry about it.
It's just, there's this hypothetical...
Rape doesn't happen to men.
Oh, it does. Twice in the same book.
Fucking hate Robert Jordan. It's fine.
Or I guess in... Oh yeah, because Lan just sort of shows up in book 7.
Yeah, and he's like, Nynaeve, we're married now.
But, like, if Myrelle went to Nynaeve and was like, listen, Lan is coming here because Moiraine passed me the bond and she wants me to give it to you, but you need to become an Aes Sedai first. Nynaeve would be like, well, fuck yeah, then I'm going to become an Aes Sedai because I'm horny.
Yeah.
Which, again, not a great motivation to do something.
Yeah, but at least it's...
But it would have accomplished... Yeah, something. Instead of Nynaeve just floundering. And some stuff happens. She checks in. She walks into a room where Logain is literally being displayed as, like, the sideshow at a freak show.
Mm-hmm.
He's, like, narrating his story, and the people, the Ebudaran nobles, Altaran nobles, I guess I should say, who are, like, hearing his story about how the Red Aja manipulated him, which I still cannot, for the fucking life of me, remember if this is, like, a true thing or just a total... manipulation.
I don't know, yeah.
Who knows? I wouldn't, like, put it past the Red Aja, but I'm also like, didn't Swan just come up with that story and she just, like, drilled it into his head? I don't know. But, yeah, these nobles just keep talking to the Aes Sedai about Logain as though he's not standing right there.
Yep.
It's like he's literally standing in a cage or a glass box.
Like when we first saw him and he was in a cage.
Yeah,
in the
like,
eye of the world.
I don't love Logain. He's a trash person, and he's a rapist. Magical rapist, in that he bonds some women against their will, but then also he does have sex with one of them.
Okay, so full rapist.
Which is not great. Because, you know, there's, like, the whole, like, she's manipulating him, trying to get into his bed to fuck him. It's just stupid. It's not consensual sex, really, on either of their ends.
Since the Wheel of Time fandom seems to have trouble grasping the nuance involved with consent and sexual assault, let's just put it on the table that consent has a lot of nuance and pretty much nobody consents to the sex that they have in these books. But
I'm trying to think of a single example. Matt and Tuon have consensual sex, eventually. Like, enthusiastic consensual sex, which is great, except that Tuon is a colonialist piece of shit.
Yeah, except that, doesn't Tuon try to, like, buy Matt off of Tywin in the beginning?
Yeah, that's at the beginning, yeah. I'm just, like, in their relationship, their sexual encounter is like, hey, how are ya? Great, let's fuck.
Okay, well, at least there's that.
But still, yeah, not a great foundation on which to build. No one has a healthy relationship.
This is where I wrote about this in one of my Path of Daggers blogs, so here's a sneak peek. But, like, Perrin and Fael come really close to having, like, a sweet and tender relationship, because they're, like, genuinely interested in each other, and whenever they are having sex, it seems like they're both, like, enjoying it, you know?
And enthusiastic and excited.
Yeah, and just, like, yeah, they're like, I love having sex with my husband or wife, except that it then just gets mixed up in their, like, disgusting toxic monogamy power dynamic shit where it feels like I have to fuck you so Barely knows that you're my husband. And it's like, oh my god, you came so close. And we were so close to you being a normal relationship.
You fucked up a perfectly good, well, not. You fucked up what could have been a perfectly good married couple.
Yeah. Because Phil's just like, look at my sexy husband, and Parent's like, look at my sexy wife. And then they're like, we don't trust each other at all. Ah! Okay.
Such a nightmare.
The magical and actual rapist is being paraded around.
Yeah, like he is subhuman. Which, great. Love that dialogue. We also meet the Aes Sedai Lelaine, whose name is not only incredibly close to Leanne, or Jordan, what the fuck?
It's close to Leanne and Elaine. Lelaine.
Lelaine?
Lelaine.
She's one of the two Aes Sedai sitters who will be a thorn in Egg's side, I guess, is how we can put it. Her and Ramonda will have, like, two factions.
Oh, yeah.
That Egg has to deal with throughout her tenure as Amerlin's seat. But that's a stupid subplot, and I'm hoping we can get through it without talking about it. But just wanted to throw out there that she has been introduced. And Nynaeve walks out and immediately runs into Swan and Gareth Bryn, who are having a full-on shouting match in the middle of the street. Gareth Bryn keeps referring to her as woman.
Cool.
Woman, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
I love that.
He's like, all I did was compliment you. I said you look cheerful today. And Swan was like... It's just their usual bullshit.
Yeah.
And the, like, ugly... Like, Nynaeve draws attention to the fact that he is gray-haired while Swan looks incredibly young.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then she's like, what the fuck was that about? When Gareth Bryn walks away. And Swan's like, mind your own business, you fucking slut.
Yeah, that tracks.
And Nynaeve's like, okay, well, I do want to study you and or Leanne today, and you need to make yourself available to me like you promised. And Swan's like, fine, but I can't do it now. I'll come to you in the afternoon. And Nynaeve's like, ugh, whatever. Then runs into Lelaine, who is like, hello, I would like you to give me some information about Randall Thor. And Nynaeve's like, I don't have any. I don't even know him that well.
She's like, Rand is a dumb bitch that I babysat a few times.
I babysat him like twice. I don't know anything
Stop
about
asking me about
other
it.
than what normal people know about him. While she's walking around, she sees the arrival of a woman named Tarna Fair, who is a representative of Aleda, who's visiting Salidar. Nynaeve doesn't know this at the time. She just mentions her, and then later when she sees Elaine's like, this woman arrived, it's a big fucking deal. And gives a description of that matches Nynaeve's. So that's, politics. Eventually Nynaeve, I might be missing something here, but who cares? Eventually Nynaeve just goes back to her room to just sit, because she's doing nothing. And Moghedien comes and finds her and is like, oh, my hands, they're so wrinkled. And Nynaeve's like, let's get down to business, you teach me some shit. And while they're doing this, Lelaine, bursts in and is like, there's an embassy, blah, blah, blah. And that's basically the chapter. Chapters, I guess I could say. There's nothing in there of substance. We've learned nothing that we didn't really get already in that snippet from the prologue. They are just sort of walking in place, like a frozen video game. Like a video game character walking into a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen animation, and it is blatantly obvious that what Robert Jordan needs to do to progress the plot is get Edwene there, but that for some godforsaken reason, the godforsaken reason is Gawain. He is not doing that because he needs Edwene to be in Cairhien a little bit longer.
To make out with Gawain a few times.
To make out with Gawain, and I guess to have a few conversations with Rand. And it is like, if you have nothing to say about the characters in this part of the world, don't fucking go to this part of the world. Mm-hmm. Sure, maybe the book is shorter, but hey, Robert, You never intended the series to be 14 books long. The reason
the book
it is
being shorter was not the issue.
It's not an issue.
Book is so
50-something chapters. It's literally over 1,000 pages long. You could have just cut out this 50 pages.
Yeah, and then everyone would have been happier.
And more. And it's, oh my god.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm blaming Harriet here, but it is seriously like these were not edited.
Yeah, like, no offense to Harriet.
I'm sure she did. We don't know the circumstances.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know if she, like, was like, you need to edit this out, and Robert was like, no, and they were married.
Yeah, which is like, I would never have my wife be my sole editor or whatever, my primary editor. That's just, like, seems like a conflict of interest.
Exactly. You need an editor to be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And how are you gonna, like, eat breakfast with that person the next morning?
Even
if you are...
shit sucks.
Even if you're, like, a recipient of constructive criticism in a good way, you would still be like, well, I'm a little bit troubled by...
Yeah.
You just, like, can't have a personal relationship with your primary editor.
Yeah.
You can get feedback from people you live with. I get great feedback from Sally all the time, but, like... If Sally's job was to rip apart my manuscripts, I could not live with her.
Yeah, there's a reason it's a professional relationship, you know? I also feel like the people at Tor Books maybe gave Robert Jordan, as they give Brando Sando, a little too much leeway to write just, like, door stoppers.
Yeah.
When, like, it is maybe not as necessary when... You know, they let, when it's not like they're the amazing queer writers of color that are writing novellas for them are given the same page space. So we are back to the old argument that we've had on this podcast many a times, but, Robert Jordan just got away with a little, too much.
He got away with torture porn. Yeah. Literally.
That's literally the only thing that happens in this chapter. These chapters are torture porn. First with the nightmare scene, then with Merrigan, then with Logain.
And it is, like, so obnoxious because the sense you get with the Aes Sedai getting tortured is that this is, like, their punishment for being obnoxious characters.
Yeah.
And, like, oh, look how good of a person Elaine still is that she goes and rescues them or whatever. And it's like, Robert Jordan, first of all, you do not have to make your characters as obnoxious as they are, but also you do not... get to punish people for being bad in that, like, weird way, that moralistic way. That's not your job as an author. It's your job as an author to make a plot and characters that make sense.
Yeah, I also just, like, cannot handle... This is, like, torture for some reason is, like, a big motif in the Path of Daggers, more so than I've seen it in any of the books up to this point. Like, Robert Jordan does sprinkle a too healthy amount of torture throughout, but in Path of Daggers, it's been, like, every chapter so far, it feels like. I was going somewhere with this. Oh, but, like, torture, like rape, cannot be used as a form of, like, punishment, because that's not what it is, you know? It's, like, it's a crime done to that person. It's a violation of their rights to, like, self-agency. So, like, it can't just be applied as a moralistic punishment to anybody, and, like, that's this conversation that the characters seem to be in, are, like, good guy characters about what it means to, like, torture the bad guys, and it's like, that's not how it works. I, like, can't even, like, articulate it, because that's just not how it works, you know? Like, it's a bad thing. No matter who is doing it, and no matter who it is being done to, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it seems like male fantasy writers love to put their characters in a situation where it's like, well, either we torture this bad guy, or we don't progress the plot forward at all. And it's like, first of all, this is the situation you are putting them in. Yeah. Second of all, yeah, if your character decides to torture anyone, no matter how bad they are, it's not great. And I would probably no longer consider them a good guy.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it's just like...
Like, Perrin chops off a dude's arm when he is interrogating him about info for fail or whatever, and I'm like, do I consider Perrin a paragon of virtue anymore? If I ever did, no.
Oh, of course not.
I think he's a sort of a dick.
Yeah. And it's just like, ugh.
I don't love that Nynaeve is walking around with Mogadee unleashed to her.
Yeah. Oh my god. like, it hit me anew when they're like, we can't let the Aes Sedai find out that we're doing this because it'll be really bad for us. And I'm like, yeah, fucking course it'll be really bad. You're walking around with a slave. Like, you've enslaved this person. No matter that it is Moghedien, like, you are holding someone, you're enslaving another person.
I mean, let me be clear. The Aes Sedai will not care that you are enslaving a person.
Yeah.
They'll be sad that you didn't give them the power to enslave that person themselves.
Okay, good point.
Aes Sedai fucking suck.
Good point, Emily.
But yeah, you know it's wrong. You dicks know it's wrong.
Yeah, like, you get, like, these little tinges of guilt, and then you're like, it's okay, it's Moghedien. And it's like,
she's giving
yes,
us info that we desperately need.
it's like, yes, Moghedien is a bad person, but with Rand's whole, was it, like, Rand a while ago who's, like, yeah, it was like, Mazrim Tim isn't as bad as the Forsaken, and it's like, you can't hold all actions up against what the Forsaken are
Mazrim Tim
doing.
literally becomes one of the Forsaken.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have if you didn't give him the benefit of the fucking doubt.
Yeah, and it's just like, you can't look at human rights violations on, like, a slippery sliding scale. Like,
On a case-by-case basis.
yeah, it's like, it's not like you can just be like, we're just gonna, like, push it back a little bit because it's Moghedien, so, like, it's not as big of a deal.
So her rights aren't as human as ours.
Yeah, because it's not a big deal that she like, I can literally think, wow, I wish she was in mind-boggling pain, and then she would be, which is great to give to a person like Nynaeve, who is known for her short temper and bad decision making.
Moghedien literally walks in complaining, and Nynaeve just, like, slaps her
Yeah.
through the whatever. And it's like, oh my god. And we are like, and these are the good guys.
It's like, I hate every single one of them. Like, not to always bring this back to be like, Matt seems to be the only good character, but so far I've not seen Matt do any torture.
So far, yeah.
So far.
I can't remember him ever doing any.
I could definitely
Past
be wrong.
Robert Jordan. He generally doesn't have the power to torture anyone.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's usually the one being tortured, which is another conversation.
God.
So anyway,
Happy Thanksgiving.
speaking of human rights violations.
Speaking of human rights violations. Yeah, that's our angry rant of these two chapters. The next couple of chapters will be... Oh, Christ. We'll get a long... Well, not a long chapter, at least. We'll catch up with the White Cloaks and Morgoth in Amadicia, and then we will flip back over to Rand, just in time to see him get magically raped. So...
No!
If you're like, I don't like the tone of this episode, it's so angry, you might want to skip the next episode too, because it's
going to probably be even angrier.
going to just get angry. There's going to be more yelling.
I feel like we're just going to be yelling throughout all of Lord of Chaos, because it's like, here is Alana magically raping Rand, and then Rand will get put in a box.
Wasn't
and...
one of our listeners like, you could just skip
Yeah.
Lord of Chaos?
It was Peter who's like, you guys seem really upset. Maybe you should just skip Lord of Chaos.
You know, Peter, the more I think about it,
You and your infinite wisdom.
we might definitely skip Path of Daggers. I mean,
if you literally just want to watch me scream, or listen to me scream, for 25 weeks, we can do Path of Daggers. Because I will just be like, here, I would like to read everyone the Geneva Convention, and then go chapter by chapter to show how Robert Jordan thought
25 weeks of the Geneva Convention.
Robert Jordan thought it was fun to just, pretend this isn't a big deal.
Okay, we have to go make dinner and walk Pirates of the Caribbean too.
go peel sweet potatoes and bother Emily while she makes other potatoes.
Potatoes! Thanks for listening. Thank you to Glenna McKenzie for our theme song. Check us out on social media, on Patreon. Please, if you have not done so already, celebrate Thanksgiving and the modern day crime against human rights that is Black Friday.
Yeah.
Think of the retail workers. And please, if you are able, donate some time or some money to a local organization that is working to aid Indigenous peoples. You can, Sally shared some links, I'm sure they are still available on Instagram for ways that you can look up, if you are in America or if you are in North America, the native land that you are currently occupying. and you can see which tribe exactly you owe reparations to.
Yeah. This will be a reminder for me to just put it in our link tree so that you can always access it. And so if you guys go to look for it and can't find it, just DM me, and that will be my second reminder, because hopefully I will have already done it, but if I haven't, you can remind me and I will do it. So thank you.
I'll remind you.
Yeah, and I will remind you.
Yeah, we say don't do war crimes, but it is not enough to not do war crimes. That's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You could actually aid human rights.
Yeah, it's an obligation, really, if you're living in North America, because you are living on stolen land, and not just stolen, but like violently taken. So open your wallet, and if you can't do that, open your time. Bare minimum you can do is educate yourself about the specific tribal land that you're living on. Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. If you do donate to an Indigenous person or an Indigenous organization, we'll send you a sticker.
Yeah.
Because we want to promote you guys donating. And that's one way we can be like, yay! And also, please help us get rid of our envelopes.
So many envelopes.
So let's kill two birds with one stone, or as PETA says, feed two birds with one stone, which you shouldn't do either, because feeding bread to
give them bread.
Feeding bread to birds is very dangerous.
PETA, you stupid ass.
Can't digest it. So sorry. What were you going to say? Do I have a sign off?
Yeah, do you have a sign off?
I don't know if I do. Oh, I'll have to show you the picture afterwards. This is more of a visual sign off. But yesterday, my sister-in-law tried to cut her 2-year-old son hair by herself.
Oh no. Oh no.
I have to go get my phone to show you the picture while we're on the air because it is so funny. Be right back. Oh yeah, look at him.
Oh my fucking god.
It's like, what did you do to him?
Have you guys seen Naruto? He doesn't look like Naruto, he looks like Rock Lee. But ginger.
So bad.
It's like, he's got turf bangs. He looks like the Queen's Gambit.
So she had to take him to, like, he looks normal now.
Oh, God.
She had to take him to get, like, an actual haircut, but, like, oh my god. So funny.
Okay, thanks for listening, everyone.
Goodbye.
Have a good week. Bye.